Hello students, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. So in this session we are going to start the new chapter, that is sexual reproduction in flowering plant. Here, so before we start the CET and Neet session, first we cover whatever the content given in the NCERT textbook, then the extra points we are covering on the board only. Yes. So sexual reproduction in flowering plant means when you take the angiosperms in plant kingdom. The plant kingdom consists of algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperms and angiosperms. The angiosperms are called as a flowering plant. Yes. So sexual reproduction in flowering plant means all the flowering plant means angiosperms show the sexual reproduction. The flowers are the site of sexual reproduction. So if you take any angiosperms plant, the root, stem, leaf, branches, even flower, fruit, everything is there. The flowers are the site of sexual reproduction and the fruits are the product of the sexual reproduction. Yes. So when you take the flower, when the plants are going to produce the flower, ಈಗ ಆ ಗಿಡ ಹೂ ಯಾವಾಗ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾವಾಗ ಗಿಡ ಅದು ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಜುವೆನೈಲ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಫೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ದೆನ್ several hormonal and structural changes result in the differentiation and development of the floral primordia. So floral primordia irutte, aa floral primordiaನೆ elaborate agi flower agutte. Yes. So when you take this one here, so this is a floral primordia and this is a bud and this is a flower. Yes. And the cluster of the flower is inflorescence. In first year, different types of inflorescence we covered. So adu morphology point. So cymose inflorescence, racemose inflorescence, avella cover madu. So the inflorescence bear the floral bud and then the flowers. So ee structure enideyalla inflorescence kottiddu. So that is nothing but the cluster of flower. So ಈಗ ನಾವು direct pre-fertilization structure adalli male reproductive part to female reproductive part we are going to elaborately study. Yes. So ಈಗ pre-fertilization structure and event. Structure of the flower. A typical flower has a two parts, means it has a four whorls and the outermost whorl is a calyx. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು. So when you take this one here, the outermost whorl is a calyx. Yes. The colorful whorl is a corolla. The calyx is made up of sepals and corolla is made up of petals. So sometimes the sepals are either free or fused one. Yes. Petalu free irbodu, fused hogirbodu. Sepals free idre polysepalous antare. Petals sepals fused ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಯಾಮೋಸೆಪಲಸ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಎಸ್. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಪೆಟಲ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಪಾಲಿಪೆಟಲಸ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಪೆಟಲ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಯಾಮೋಪೆಟಲಸ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ accessory whorls. So they are not directly involved in the sexual reproduction. The main, this androsium and gynosium. Yes, this is a androsium and this is a gynosium. The androsium is a male reproductive part and gynosium is a female reproductive part. Yes. So ಈಗ typical bisexual complete flower dalli calyx, yes, calyx, corolla, androsium and gynosium. ಸೊ ಇವು ನಾಲ್ಕು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಆ ಫ್ಲವರಿಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಬೈಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಅನ್ನಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಪ್ರೀ ಫರ್ಟಿಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕವರ್ ದ ಮೇಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಕವರ್ ದ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಎಸ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ one is a pre-fertilization structure, androsium. The male reproductive part of the flower. The androsium is a male reproductive part. It consists of whorls of the stamens. Their number and length are variable in the different species. So first year dalli ನೀವು ಮೂರು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಮುಗಿಸಿದ್ರಿ, ಫ್ಯಾಬೇಸಿ, ಸೊಲುನೆಸಿ, ಲಿಲಿಯೇಸಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಮೂರು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ the number of stamens vary. So ಈಗ if you take any angiosperm species, the number of stamens in Androsium may differ. The length of the filament may differ. Yes. So here it is a complete bisexual flower. Again, the same parts are mentioned here. This is a pedicel. It is a stalk. Yes. So nectar means inside the fluid producing glands are there. Articulation means it is a attachment. Yes. This is a floral axis, means from this point to this point it is a floral axis. So the calyx is made up of sepals, the green color portion, this one. So this will give the protection to the flower. The petals are colorful in entomophilous flower. So both are accessory walls. Yes. If the calyx and corolla is not differentiating, yes. ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದು ಕೊರೋಲ್ಲ ಯಾವುದು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೆರಿಯಾ ಅಂತಂತೇವೆ. ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ, ದ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಪಲ್ಸ್. ಎಸ್, ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಪಲ್ಸ್. ಕೊರೋಲ್ಲ ಈಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೆಟಲ್ಸ್. ಪೆರಿಯಾಂತ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೆಪಲ್ಸ್. ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ವರ್ಲ್ ಹೆಸರು ಬೇರೆ, ಅದರ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಹೆಸರು ಬೇರೆ. Yes. Now come to the male reproductive part. Yes. So male reproductive part nalli idu stamen. This is a stamen. Yes. So it made up of filament, long filament like structure. This will help in projecting the anther towards the outside to the outside of the flower. Yes. At the tip of the filament, anther is there. So this is the anther. Yes, the anther is bilobed, dithecous, tetrasporangiate structure. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗೆ microsporangium ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ and connective is there. So this structure we are going to cover in detail. Yes, so this is a pre-fertilization structure, that is the Androsium. When you take the Androsium, as I told, the Androsium is made up of two parts, filament and anther. Yes, same filament and anther. Anther is the actual part where the male gametes are going to produce one. So, first one is a filament. Filament is a long slender stalk. Its proximal end is attached to the thalamus. Proximal end ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಪಾರ್ಟು ಥ್ಯಾಲಮಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ the petal of the flower. Yes. ಸೊ ಈಗ petal of the flower ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ನು ಥ್ಯಾಲಮಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸತ ಪೆಟಲಿಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಇಫ್ ದ ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಟು ದ ಪೆಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫ್ಲವರ್, then such condition is called the epipetalous condition. Epipetalous condition. ನೀವು ದಾಸವಾಳ ಹೂ ಆಗಲಿ ಹೆಬಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ತೆಗೆದು ನೀವು ಆಂಡ್ರೋಶಿಯಮ್ ತೆಗಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಟ್ಟರೆ ಈ ಕೆಳಗಿನ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ನು ಪೆಟಲಿಗೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಟು ದ ಪೆಟಲ್ಸ್ ಒನ್, that is the epipetalous condition. When you take the filament one, it is only structure. Yes. The next one is anther. The anther is a terminal and typically bilobed. Yes, and each lobe has a two theca. Yes, that's why it is a dithecous ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Yes, often longitudinal groove run lengthwise separating the two theca ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೇನು ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ನಲ್ ಗ್ರೂ. ಎರಡೂ ಲೋಬಿಗೆ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದೊಂದು ಲೋಬು, ಇದೊಂದು ಲೋಬ್. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಇನ್ ಈಚ್ ಲೋಬ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಟೂ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೊರೆಂಜಿಯಾ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಈ ಕಡೆ ಎರಡು ಸ್ಪೊರೆಂಜಿಯಾ, ಈ ಕಡೆ ಎರಡು ಸ್ಪೊರೆಂಜಿಯಾ. ಅದ್ರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಈ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಿ, ದ ಆಂಥರ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೈಥೀಕಸ್, ಎರಡು ಲೋಬ್ ಇದೆ. Yes, this is a dithecous due to presence of two microsporangia in each lobe. That's why it is a tetrasporangium. Yes, and in between the two theca longitudinal groove is there. ಇದೇನು ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೊರೆಂಜಿಯಾ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆದರೆ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಇಂಟು ಪೋಲನ್ ಸ್ಯಾಕ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ಟು ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಒನ್ ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ there. So this is about the Androsium main structure. Now we are going to cover the main structure, that is a Androsium. So that is also important one, that is a transverse section of Anther. So this is a stamen in which filament is there and anther is there. If you take the transverse section of anther like this, so you will get the structure like this one. So this is a young anther and this is a mature anther. Can you differentiate? Now the anther is a tetragonal, means 4 lobes are there. So this is a tetragonal structure, consists of 4 microsporangia. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 microsporangia located at the corner of each lobe. This corner, so all microsporangia present on the 4 corners. Now, the microsporangia develop into pollen sac. So this is a microsporangia. Inside microsporogenesis take place and large number of pollen grains are produced. That's why these microsporangia develop into pollen sac. They extend longitudinally all through the length of the anther and packed with the pollen grain. Means extend from longitudinal ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಟ್ಟ ಹೀಗೆ extend ಆಗುತ್ತೆ from tip to the bottom. So this is a extended. Yes. So this is a transverse section. When you take this one, microspore mother cell is given here. Then after tapitum name is given and the pollen sac. These are the pollen sac and these are the pollen grain. Yes. Now come to the next structure in detail. When you take the transverse section of anther, the anther typically the microsporangium is near to the circular in outline. Microsporangium means this one. So now we are going to cover only microsporangium. Yeah, it is a circular in outline. It is surrounded by the 4 wall layers from outside to inside. Now here, epidermis is here, endothecium is second layer, middle layer is also mentioned here, and tapitum is the innermost layer. The anther wall is made up of 4 wall layers: epidermis, endothecium, middle layer and tapitum. Is this clear? So out of this one, the outer 3 layers give the protection and help in the dehiscence of anther to release the pollen grain. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ dehiscence ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಬಂತು. Dehiscence means, so this is a young anther. Yes. So this is a microsporangium. ಒಳಗೆಲ್ಲ pollen grain ತಯಾರಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೋರೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ pollen grain ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ based on the structure, this anther will rupture from this line. ಕಟ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಈ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು pollen grain ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ pollen grain ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ದ ಡಿಹೈಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಪೋರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಲಾಂಗಿಟ್ಯೂಡಿನಲ್ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, pollen grain ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಡಿಹೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ anther means that is a release of pollen grain from the microsporangium. Yes. Now next structure is same microsporangium. Structure of microsporangium. ಈಗ in NCERT textbook only the layer names are given. The specific function of the each layer is not mentioned one. So ಈಗ last slide ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ tapitum. So just I will tell the what are the functions of these layer. Epidermis is a single layer. It will give the only protection to the anther. Endothecium is a second layer. So illi endothecium means this layer, second layer, endothecium, its radial wall and its tangential wall. ಒಳಗಿನ ಗೋಡೆ. So where the cellulose, lignin, sometimes pectin is deposited on. Due to that one, this layer is called as a fibrous layer. ಈ ಲೇಯರ್ ಏನಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಂಡೋಥೀಸಿಯಂ, ಅದರ ಒಳಗಿನ ಗೋಡೆ ಮತ್ತು ಗೋಡೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಪೋಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸೆಲ್, ಈ ಸೆಲ್ ಇತ್ತಂತಿದ್ರೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ವಾಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ರೇಡಿಯಲ್ ವಾಲ್, ಈ ಎರಡೂ ಗೋಡೆ ಸೆಲ್ಯುಲೋಸು ಪೆಕ್ಟಿನು ಡಿಪಾಸಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಥಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಇನ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಸೆಲ್. ಎಸ್, so due to the deposition of cellulose, pectin, lignin, this became the fibrous layer. Middle layer is made up of 2 to 3 layers. So ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಲೇಯರ್ ಇದೆ, 2ರಿಂದ 3 ಲೇಯರ್ ಮಿಡಲ್ ಲೇಯರ್. ಸೊ ಇವು ಮೂರೂ ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ at maturity this middle layer degenerate and this middle layer will give the nutrition to the ಡೆವಲಪಿಂಗ್ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೊರೆಂಜಿಯಂ. ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೇನು ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೊರೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್ ನಡೀತಿರೋದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎಂಡೋಥೀಸಿಯಂ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್, ಎಸ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡಿಹೈಸನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಂಥರ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಡಿಹೈಸನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಹೆಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕವರ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 2-3 ಸ್ಲೈಡ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೆಪಿಟಮ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಟೆಪಿಟಮ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ yes now structure of the flower, under that one Androsium structure and structure of the Microsporangium. ಇಲ್ಲಿ tapitum function ಹೇಳಿದಾರೆ. So tapitum is the innermost layer, nourishes the developing pollen grain. So it is the innermost layer, it provides the nourishes the developing pollen grain. So cells of the tapitum contain the dense cytoplasma, generally more than one nucleus. So even tapitum is a tapitum cells are very large, they have the dense cytoplasma and it is a polynucleate condition. ಒಂದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. How it is possible means due to the endomitosis. So repeatedly mitosis ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. The karyokinesis is not followed by the cytokinesis. That's why each cell of the tapitum is made up of more than one nucleus. So the importance of tapitum we are going to cover on the board work. Yes, once what is the function of tapitum means. So tapitum will nourish the developing pollen grain, it's okay. So other functions ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ this tapitum will produce the Ubish body, Ubish granules. ಸೊ ಯುಬಿಷ್ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾನ್ಯುವಲ್ದಿಂದ ಸ್ಪೋರೋಪೊಲಿನಿನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಲು ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇನ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈನ್ ಲೇಯರ್. ದಟ್ ಸ್ಪೋರೋಪೊಲಿನಿನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ದ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ exine layer. So tapitum produces the sporopollenin through the Ubish granules, that is the first. Yes. Second, tapitum also produces the pollen kit in the entomophilous flower. ಈಗ ಎಂಟೆಮೋಫಿಲಸ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪಾಲಿನೇಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದ ಪೋಲನ್ ಕಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ tapitum. ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ this tapitum also produce some enzymes ಅಥವಾ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸು, ಇಂಡೋಲೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಸಿಡು, ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ಸು ಇದು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ tapitum is a functionally very important one. So based on the structure, the tapitum ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎರಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. The amoeboid tapitum ಅಥವಾ invasive tapitum, glandular tapitum ಅಥವಾ secretory tapitum. So type of tapitum we are going to cover on the board one. Yes. So tapitum function from the board exam point of view and the Neet point of view, it is very important. Either function correct ಆಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. Yes. So inside this tapitum, the young anther, each microsporangium has a sporogenous tissue in the center. It consists of compactly arranged homogeneous diploid cell, that is a sporogenous cell. This is a main one, sporogenous cell ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So which is a diploid, means that is a 2n1. Yes. So now main one, Microsporogenesis. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಗರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಂಥರ್. ಸೊ ಫಿಲಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಔಟರ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಲೇಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್, then it is followed by the endothecium, then middle layer, tapitum is the innermost layer. Inside to that one, sporogenous cells are there. The microspore mother cell ಅಥವಾ pollen mother cell ಅಂತೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So this is a microspore mother cell or the pollen mother cell which is diploid, which undergo meiotic division. Meiotic means that is a reductional division. Meiotic division ಆದ ನಂತರ 4 ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೋರ್ ತಯಾರಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ meiosis means it is a 2 successive division, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. After meiosis, so 4 microspores are produced. All 4 microspores are arranged in the form of tetrad. Yes, so microspore arranged in the cluster of 4 cells, that's why it is called the tetrad. The formation of the microspore from the pollen mother cell through the meiosis is called as a microsporogenesis. So this is a main event, microsporogenesis. Yes, so definition ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. What is microsporogenesis means? This is a formation of microspore from the pollen mother cell through meiosis is called the microsporogenesis. The complete process is given here. The diploid pollen mother cell, which is this one, undergo meiosis, produce 4 cells. Here only 3 cells are given, 1 cell is on the other side. After separation, each microspore develop into pollen grain. Yes, so means these microspore mother cell which is present here, so they ultimately produce the pollen grain. These are nothing but the male gametophyte. Yes, so next come the microsporogenesis here. As the anther mature and dehydrate, ಈ pollen grains ಎಲ್ಲ ತಯಾರಾಗಿದೆ. ತಯಾರಾದ ನಂತರ this is a pollen grain, ಇದು ಮೆಚ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಕವರ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ pollen grain. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ಸು ಮೈಟೋಟಿಕ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸೆಲ್ ತಯಾರಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಸೆಲ್. ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಸೆಲ್ ತಯಾರಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಜನರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೆಲ್. ಎಸ್, ಸೊ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ದ sporopollenin which is coming from the UV granules produced from the tapitum one, that is deposited on this pollen grain. Yes, that mature pollen grains are nothing but these one. So as the anther mature and dehydrate, so gradually the water content decreases, the microspore dissociate from each other and develop into pollen grain. ಈಗ microspore tetrad ಏನಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ, so you pollen grain initially, so they are arranged either in the form of like this one ಅಥವಾ ಟಿ ಶೇಪ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಟಿ ಶೇಪ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಟೈಪ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಟೆಟ್ರಾಹೈಡ್ರಲ್ 4 ಒಂದರ ನಂತರ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಲೀನಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ದ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ pollen grains microspores are the different pattern. So gradually the each microsporangium contain thousands of pollen grain. They are released with the dehiscence of anther. Now again the dehiscence term came here. So dehiscence ಅಂತ ಬಂತು. So this is a anther. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೊರೆಂಜಿಯಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೊರೆಂಜಿಯಾ ಒಳಗಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಪೊರೋಜೆನೆಸಿಸ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ ಮೆಚ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ರಪ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ದ ಡಿಹೈಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ the dehiscence will take place in the particularly in this place only. Why means here at this site, ಈ ಸೈಟಲ್ಲಿ the thickness of epidermis and endothecium is very thin. ಈ ಸೈಟಲ್ಲಿ ಎಪಿಡರ್ಮಿಸ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಎಂಡೋಥಿಸಿಯಂ ಥಿಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಬಹಳ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಲೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟೋಮಿಯಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸ್ಟೋಮಿಯಮ್, ದ ಆಂಥರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಡಿಹೈಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋಮಿಯಮ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೋಮಿಯಮ್ನಿಂದ ರಪ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೌ ದ ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಮೇನ್ ಒನ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ Generally, the pollen grain means it is a male gametophyte where the inside male gametes are there. Yes. Generally spherical, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು shape change ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. So ಆ shapes ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. 25 to 50 millimeter in diameter. So diameter means from this point to this point. Cytoplasma is surrounded by the plasma membrane. Yes, plasma membrane is there. The pollen grain has a two-layered wall. The outer layer is the exine, inner layer is the intine. The exine is mentioned here, intine is mentioned here. So the large cell is called the vegetative cell, smaller cell is called the generative cell. Yes. So now we are going to cover the what is the significance of exine and the intine. Now, as I told, the hard outer layer made up of the sporopollenin. ಈಗ sporopollenin ಯಾರು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು? Sporopollenin is secreted from the tapitum one. Highly resistant organic material. It can withstand high temperature, strong acid and alkali. Even enzyme cannot digest the sporopollenin. That's why exine will remain as it is for the millions of years in the nature. So ಇದು exine layer ಇದ್ದ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದಲೇ pollen grain ನೇಚರ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು. The exine has a aperture called germ pore. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ germ pore ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಡೆ exine, the sporopollenin thickness is minimum. ಇಲ್ಲಿ sporopollenin ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಡಿಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಆಗೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. The site where the sporopollenin thickness is very minimum one, so they are either circular, ಈ ಟೈಪ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ longitudinally ಹೀಗೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. The sporopollenin is absent. The pollen grains are preserved in the fossils due to the presence of sporopollenin. Again they mentioned the exine exhibit pattern and the design means just only I told. The sporopollenin is produced from the Ubish granules, that is produced from the tapitum. That sporopollenin is deposited and their pattern is specific for specific species. So ಈ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು, ಇದ್ರ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು pollen grain ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ಗೆ ಬೇರೆ. ಸೊ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈಡ್, ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿನೂ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ exine, which is the outer layer of pollen wall. Now intine. So intine is the inner wall. It is a thin, continuous and it is a flexible and elastic one. It is made up of cellulose and pectin. So it is also called as a pectocellulose layer antu helbodu. So now take the structure. So outer layer is the exine, inner layer is the intine. Exine is made up of sporopollenin, intine is made up of cellulose and pectin. Yes. So this is about the anther wall. Now come the pollen grain male gametophyte inner structures. The pollen grain, mature pollen grain contain two cells, vegetative cell which is a bigger and has abundant food reserve, and large irregular shaped nucleus. So the nucleus is little bit irregular shape. So compared to this generative cell, it is a bigger, large amount of food is reserved one. Yes. Generative cell is a small and float in the cytoplasma of vegetative cell. So ಇದು ಇನಿಷಿಯಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಡಿಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. It is a spindle shape with the dense cytoplasma and nucleus. Yes. So vegetative cell and generative cell. So based on this one, now come the main topic. Over 60% of angiosperms shed their pollen grain in two-celled stage. Two-celled andre ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲು, ಒಂದು ಜನರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So due to presence of these two, first one and this is second one, two cell, that is a two-cell state, 60%. In others, the generative cell divide mitotically. E cell, this will again divide and produce two cells, two male gamete. That's why such pollen grains are called the three-celled pollen grain. Means pollen grain ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, so this is a pollen grain and this is a generative cell and ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು male gamete ಇರುತ್ತೆ generative cell. So if only one vegetative cell and one generative cell is there, then it is a two-celled condition. If one vegetative cell and two male gametes are there, then it is a three-celled condition. Now come the pollen grain importance one. Structure of the pollen grain. Here comes the end of the male reproductive part. The pollen grains, the shed pollen grains and land on the stigma. Land on the stigma before they lose the viability. Viability andre ಏನು? Viability andre every pollen grain has some functional period during which they have the capacity to pollinate, means germinate. Yes. So a specific time limit cross ಆದ ನಂತರ they can't germinate. Yes. Viability period of the pollen grain is a variable. It depends on the temperature and humidity. Temperature ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಯಿತು, humidity ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು, so viability period ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡಿಸ್ಟರ್ಬ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Viability of the pollen grain, some of the species, yes, based on this one question may arise. So rice, wheat for 30 minutes, the members of Leguminosae, Rosaceae and Solanaceae, viability for the month. So ಈ ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ pollen grain 30 ನಿಮಿಷ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಟಿಗ್ಮಾ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಳಬೇಕು. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಲೆಗ್ಯುಮಿನೇಸಿ, ರೋಸೇಸಿ, ಸೋಲನೇಸಿ, ಸೊ pollen grain 1 ತಿಂಗಳ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸ್ಟಿಗ್ಮಾ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ದರೂ ನಡೀತದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ viability of the pollen grain. Now next comes the last topic of this session, that is the economic importance of the pollen grain. Pollen grains are rich in nutrient. Pollen tablets are used as a food supplement. Pollen tablet, syrups increase the performance of the athletes and the racehorse. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿದ್ದ ಕಾರಣ ಸೊ ಸ್ಟಿಮ್ಯುಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. They can be stored for the years in liquid nitrogen at -196 degrees Celsius in the pollen banks. It is specifically called as a cryopreservation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. It is used in the breeding program. So it is male gamete. So pollen grain preserve ಮಾಡಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Pollen grains of some plant, for example Parthenium or the carrot grass, are allergic for the some peoples. It lead to the chronic respiratory disorders like asthma and bronchitis. So this is about the pollen grain. So these are the topics which are specifically mentioned in the NCERT textbook. Yes. So now after covering the NCERT textbook, why? Because almost 85 to 90% of the question from the Neet level come from the NCERT textbook only. Yes. So before we start our board work, so better you cover the topic from the NCERT text from the point. Yes. So now we will meet on the classroom. So for the board work, so same topic we are covering along with some extra points. Yes. So bye bye.